Okay. So, welcome Mehak to New Journey Meditation USA.
Thank you, Prachidi.
Mehak Sanghi is a Yoga Alliance RYT 200 certified yoga instructor from the Yoga Institute, Mumbai. As a yoga enthusiast, she has been practicing since 2016 and has a teaching experience since 2018. She believes yoga is one of the best things that has happened to her. She's also a volunteer in the art of living and started her spiritual journey at a very young age. She is in the continuous learning of her yogic journey and is happy to share this beautiful knowledge with similar and this I can't say that word. So with a similar group of people. How about that? And yes. Um, now, not only that, I am very proud, very proud to say that Mehak is also my baby sister. She lives in Surat, Gujarat, and she is our yoga instructor too. Komal, my husband, I think
Yes,
Rinki,
very first
Ramya,
yoga instructor.
yes, and we love her as a sister. As growing up with her, I've never knew this side of her, and we used to always kid around. When she was in her art of living, when she used to do the art of living courses, I always used to kid around like, okay, you know what, spiritual journey, whatever. Just go and sit and do your things in the room. And she would be so busy just meditating or do something, and I had never knew because I was not in that route back that time also. And I'm like, she's always busy. She doesn't have time to meet us. And she'll come for 1 minute, even though I go there for like 1 day or 2 day after staying in USA, for so many years. Once we go to India, she'll come for 1 minute, 1 day, for half an hour, she'll meet and she's like, okay, I have to go back. I'm like, what is this? Now I understand what was that. Being in that journey, I mean, I totally understand. And we never took her seriously back then, but now I am so blessed, so blessed to know that we are from the same family, and it's like we are all evolving together. So welcome, Mehak. The stage is yours. Over to you.
Okay, I did not see that coming. Okay, so thank you so much, Prachidi. It was a wonderful description. I never imagined myself to be described like that, honestly. But it's really amazing. As you said, that this journey has been amazing. And so, personally, if I say, yeah, I did enter. I mean, I got lucky enough to enter into this at a young age through the art of living. If I start to say about it, for me it was play. I mean, I just went for fun. When I went there, I just went for fun because going there made me happy. So I'm like, this is one of the hobbies that I have. That is how I started. But then when I started enjoying, and it is, when you have you started getting that maturity about some things, or you have some up downs in the life, you have some failures, some setbacks, some this and that. That is when you start understanding more about importance of these practices. Number one is that. Number two is, for me, it really made my perspective about things so broad. I am telling you, I mean, when I saw my friends, so I belong to a CA background. Yeah. So when I saw my CA friends talking about things, and when I saw my art of living friends or my spiritual friends talking about things, I could see so much difference in them. I'm like, they make so much more sense. Why don't I get inclined to that more? So it just naturally happened. And then, when it, yeah, CA started accounting. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, so that made a lot more sense to me. And then, as I think, when it's bound to happen, it just happens. Some things plot. you may say universe plots you, or I don't know these big words honestly, but I would say it just happens when it is bound to happen. And that is how I got into my teachers training course yoga. I went to Mumbai for in one of those amazing institutes, which helped me to get a better understanding of what yogic journey is, or what spiritual journey is. Yeah, so that is how it has been. Okay, so straight away coming to the topic. So the topic for today is going to be panch pranas, or panch vayus, how you say. So I'm sure all of you are also, I mean, I keep seeing Prachidi's posts that you guys are meditating since a long time, and you are already amazingly doing in this spiritual journey. So I was like more than excited to come here to address you all and share whatever little I could, if that adds any value to you. Yeah. So it has definitely added value to me. So I love sharing about it. So that is why I'm here. Now, coming to the topic. Okay. So Pranch Prana. What is prana? I'm sure you all must have heard a lot about pranas and what it is and when it is. Still, I'll just give a very short description about it. So prana basically is the vital force, the life force in us. So it is like, if you're alive, you have prana. No prana means you're dead. Okay, simple as that. So, prana is the energy. You may say, so a simple word for that can be energy through which you can do any activity, simple as eating or speaking or running or walking. All these requires energy, right? So, our today's discussion is going to be about how can you manage this energy better, so that you can do anything that you're doing with a little more efficiency. First, at the performance level, any efficiency. Secondly, if you have any ailments in the body, you know which prana to work upon or which area to work upon. Very important. So generally, from normal cold flu to any heart problem, we keep running uh, behind the doctors, that what to do, when to do this medicine, that medicine. No, I mean, with due respect to the doctors, to their amazing knowledge, but this is something that we can do at home, like, knowing more about what is happening in our system at a physical level, at a mental level, and very important, at a spiritual level. Okay, so this was a short description about why we are going through this topic and why we chose this one for you guys, for you practitioners, for you meditators today. Okay, so straight away coming to the 5 types of pranas, or we also say panch vayus. Okay, vayu again is, I would say, the vayu. I'm sure you relate to this term, this
Air.
anything that moves, the air, anything that moves. Okay, so there are 5 pranas, and all of this have a direction to move into. Okay, all of this have a role to play in our body, in our physical body, different systems of our body, like reproductive system, digestion system. All these are related to some or the other of these 5 types of pranas. Okay, so where do we get this prana from? Anyone who would like to answer? So let's make it interactive. I am not really used to, preach or talk aloud about things. It's always an interaction. It's always great to interact, right? So, what do you think? Where do we get this energy from? Where do we get prana from? Anyone?
The universe.
The universe, okay. Where from the universe? The universe is huge. Where do you think, if you would like to break it down, where from the universe?
The Brahman.
The Brahman, very nice. From food we eat, of course. From gut, from core, okay. Right.
Should I
So,
say it out?
oh yes, of course.
From the sun.
From the sun, yeah. From our thoughts, sure. Yeah. So very nice. So I think half of my task is already done.
Kundalini Chakra.
From chakras, very nice.
Kundalini Chakra, basically, where life
Yeah.
originates.
Yeah. So actually, I would say all the chakras are also energy centers. So I would say all the chakras have a role to play in this. Yeah. So coming to our very basics, of course, the food we eat is one of our major sources of energy, but that is how we look at it. So if I give you an example of a yogi, so when I say yogi, I'm going to often use this word. So let me tell what is yogi. Not one who does yoga asanas. Okay, that is how we understand it. Yogi is someone who can twist well, who can bend well, who can do headstands and handstands. It is not that, please. And that is what I learned in my journey. So honestly, all of us sitting here in this session right now are yogis because we are attempting to learn more about life, to get a better uh, perspective about things. We are on our spiritual journey. We are meditating. We are trying to see things beyond that gross level, beyond that physical material level. So all of us are yogis here. Okay. So when I say yogi, you can definitely relate to yourself. Yeah. So when I so we have heard stories of Gautam Buddha or some really amazing yogis who have meditated for years without any intake of food, without any water, without any break. They have done their sadhana, their practice for a long time. So practically, if you see what allows them to do that, because if we say we need 3 meals at least a day, if you're into intermittent fasting, at least 2 meals a day, and need a lot of water, a lot of nutrients, a lot of basically we need that. But then yogis are one who transcend that. Yeah. And how does that happen? So of course through their practices and so now coming to the topic, that pranas, our 5 pranas have a role to play in it. So now coming to the 5 pranas, so the 5 pranas are the pranavayu. So pranavayu, so it is called the mahapranas. Okay, so pranavayu itself is the first prana. Second is samanavayu. Third is apanavayu. I'm sure many of you relate to this. Okay. So third is apanavayu. Again, it's going to be related to many of our systems. And the fourth is the vyana. And the last one is udana. Okay. So basically udana. Last May, we are going to fly through this journey through the udana vayu. Okay. So starting with the first one. Coming to this pranavayu. Pranavayu, as I said, so first was food, okay, through which we get energy. Second, as one of you said, the 5 elements, of course. Yeah, so pranavayu's work is to get this energy out of all those 5 elements, from earth through food, from water through all the liquids we consume, from fire through the sunlight we have, from fire, from basically all these 5 elements we get energy, from air through thoughts, yeah, from space through thoughts, from air. So all this energy, all these 5, so it is said that everything is around us. We don't have to look for big things. Yes, everything all around us is what helps us to get the energy. So Apan Vayu's work is to get this energy from all these 5 elements into our system. Okay. So if I take example of a factory, okay, so in factory, the one with the raw materials department, Okay, so your production and any activity cannot take place without the very basic raw materials. So Pranavayu does that work about the raw materials, or about the satisfying the very basic requirements of our body, of our systems. So talking at physical level, when your Pranavayu is strong, you can be mentally strong, you can be emotionally stable, you can do whatever you do well. Yeah, because your prana vayu is stable. So that is number one. Where it is located in our physical body. So in our physical body, it is located from our throat, in the thoracic cavity basically. So you can say from throat till the diaphragm. Okay, so that is where its location is. So from there comes all the ailments. Okay, so now which ailments does it help us to address? So the first one is, of course, everything related to the heart, the lungs, all the diseases related to them. So it might be cold, it might be flu, it might be any heart related ailment. Yeah, so if your pranavayu is stable, it's gonna help you with all these deal better. I've already talked about mental level. You'll be mentally, emotionally more stable, more strong if your pranavayu is stable. Okay, so that was about the first one, the pranavayu. Second, coming to samanavayu. Okay, so saman is a beautiful word. Coming to this word, saman means what? It's maintaining balance. It's maintaining balance. So we require balance in life, right? In doing anything, we require to balance our spiritual and our material life. We need to balance our home, all the home chores, or and the our own practices, our own needs. Yeah, so we need balance in everything. So when I talk about the Yoga Sutras, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras that we very frequently study as yoga practitioners, there is a very nice sutra or very nice shlok in that which says Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Yeah, that is maintaining balance is what yoga helps us to do. So coming back to Samanavayu. So the work of Saman is to convert that in energy from the food. Okay, so the food that we intake is converted into energy through the samana vayu, and energy only when once this is done we can use this energy in all our activities. Yeah, so this is the role of the samana vayu. Where it is located, it is located around the navel region. Okay, so from there comes its activities. So it helps us in digestion, it helps us in uh, basically absorbing the nutrients from the food that we eat. Okay, so now so you must be knowing that our stomach and our mind are very closely related. Yeah, so if your stomach is upset, always observe this. This is a very natural thing that we are going to experience. So whenever your stomach is upset, or whenever you're constipated or something, you'll see the mind also doesn't work that well. Yeah, you're very much clouded with thoughts. You're are not able to function well. Why? Because stomach is upset. Yeah, the gadbad jo bolte is Hindi good with everyone, because there are some things that only can be put in Hindi well. You cannot translate everything. Like how is the beauty of Sanskrit. Ab samatvam yoga uchyate, if I would have said in English, it wouldn't have created that impact. So there is a beauty of every language. Yes. So like how the beauty of Sanskrit, it is about Hindi. तो ऐसा बोलते हैं ना. So there's this advertisement I would like to refer to. There was this some advertisement of Triphala or something that we use to clear our stomach. So that used to say "Pet safa to sab safa." you know. So basically, when your stomach is clear, you sab safa, you'll have that clarity in mind, the clarity in thought. Basically meaning that. So that is the role of our samana vayu. So anything related to the stomach, the abdomen is going to come here. So since I'm a yoga practitioner, I would love to yoga asanas practitioner. I would say yoga practitioner. All of us are there. So some of these asanas can help us to kind of balance our samana vayu. So I'm sure many of you must already be into the practice of asanas. So if I say anything that creates an compression on the stomach, so the Pavan Muktasan or the forward bending asanas, all these are going to help us to balance our samana vayu. Or if I talk about the pranayams, the Kapala Bhati pranayam is going to help us to balance our samana vayu. So that was about samana vayu. Coming to the third one. So samana vayu is when the, so okay, let me give you one more example. So we are, uh, you know, exposed to a lot of unwanted information in our lives. Thanks to the technological advancement, we have so much to read, so much. We come across a lot of things in our mind. Yeah. So now you need to choose what to keep and what to let go. Okay. You cannot keep everything, it's going to create a mess. Yeah. So, the role of Saman Vayu here, so I would like to use an example. So whenever we have any bad experience in life, okay, no problem. We'll be done by that. Yeah. So whenever we have any bad experience in our life, two things happen. One is we carry that bad impression. We have that bad experience, that impression, and second is a learning emerges out of it. Yeah, that very important. So what does Samanvayu help us in doing? Samanvayu helps us to retain that learning from any bad experience. Okay, so that is the role of Samanvayu in our life. Next, coming to the Vyana. So Vyana basically is not Vyana, Apana. Yeah. So Apana Vayu is responsible for excretory systems. Yeah. So basically, sweating or urine or flushing out the toxins from our body, all this is taken care by this one. Okay. So again, coming to the stomach, of course. Yeah. So if this vayu, if apana vayu is strong, uh, you will be able to function better. Second, if it's weak, so if it's not working well, you'll be constipated. If it's overactive, if it's hyperactive, you'll have the opposite, lose motions. Yeah, it will, everything will just flush out if it's hyperactive. Okay. So that is about apana vayu, how important it is. So if you talk about asanas, again, any of those, so asanas I'm mentioning because I think many of you must be doing it, and it's good to know things in theory, but it's also important to know how practically you can deal with it. So for me, asanas and pranayams are one of the ways you can balance these vayus, these pranas. So when I talk about this prana apana vayu, again, those asanas which create a compression in your stomach, or the twisting asanas. The twisting asanas can be anything in sitting, like Ardha Matsyendrasana, and it can be anything in sleeping, like the Vakarasana or Markatasana, if in case you relate to these terms. For those who relate to, yeah. So all these asanas are going to help us with that. Coming to our, so we are already done with 3 pranas. Congratulations, you are already halfway, more than halfway through this. So coming to the fourth one, yeah, the Vyana. So Vyana again. So it's really beautiful how these pranas are so much related to all our levels. Physically, it's helping us to clear the elements. Mentally, it's helping us to maintain that balance. And spiritually, it's all of this. So I'm going to tell you how spiritually it's going to help at the last one. Okay.